Spurs, man. These Spurs.
The Spurs.
You want to talk about this whooping that your Newcastle boys put on? I'm not going to say my Spurs, but the Spurs.
Yeah, I do. They were almost your Spurs.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to think about this anymore.
So for those of you that don't know, Luke has a history with a certain team that plays professional football here in the States.
Their initials are the Dallas Cowboys.
They're the Dallas Cowboys, and it's pretty rough for Luke most of the time because they don't go very far as far as playoffs and things like that goes. So when he said he might be a hot Spur fan, I was. Yeah, I'm on board. I don't know much about football, and I've been watching it for maybe 6 weeks at this point. I think that's when our first video came out, maybe 2 months total. So I don't know much, but I do know this: when you allow a team in any sport to score the equivalent of what 5 goals is in football in how many minutes?
5 goals in 21 minutes.
21 freaking minutes.
I'm looking at it here. We have it was 3-0 within the first 10 minutes of the game. 9th minute, you've got 3 goals scored on you.
Oh my gosh! Let me pull this up on ESPN real quick. All right, so I'm looking. I got it pulled up. I just got our whole season pulled up for Newcastle here. By the way, let me just say this. I'm about to be the most annoying Newcastle fan y'all have ever seen in your lives. If we're smoking people, I think that was total 6-1. So we didn't really do much after that, but I guess we didn't have to. But if we're beating people 6-1,
yeah, and yes, 6-1. Harry Kane. So this is the thing. I was watching some highlights from the game.
Okay.
And in the comment section, like the top comment on underneath the video was, "Please let Harry Kane leave. Like, he doesn't deserve, or we don't deserve him."
Harry Kane is
he's the only player who scored a goal for Tottenham. Harry
Gosh.
Kane. He's like their career highest goal scorer. Like he's an incredible player. Like one of the best players that's ever played, and he's been stuck with the Spurs. I'm not gonna go as far as say one of the best who's ever played. He is one of England's best players that's ever. I mean, especially for English national team. Harry Kane has scored the most goals in the World Cup for England. He's a really good player, but he's stuck with Tottenham. And somebody in the comments under this was like, "Please let him leave because like, he doesn't deserve this."
So is he going to leave?
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I'm not sure that I'm gonna be a Tottenham fan. This has been embarrassing, man. They fired the manager.
Yeah. So I saw that. Is that something that is that something that's pretty popular? Like I know, like in American football, what do they call it? Hand egg.
Yeah.
And stuff. So in American football, if a coach does you have to do abysmally poor. And it doesn't look like Tottenham has had that bad of a season. All in all.
So from my vantage point, I have been seeing coaches and managers get fired during the season often.
So that's like a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Job security, I mean, for a lot of these guys, doesn't last more than 2 or 3 years.
Dang.
So sometimes less.
Has there been like a legendary coach? Like I'm trying to think. Like who's? For some reason the coach's name escapes me for the New England Patriots, who's been there forever.
Belichick.
Belichick. Has there ever been like coaches like that? Or
I'm sure there have, and this is gonna show my ignorance, but the ones that I'm familiar with, I don't know where they rank because you've got the sport going back to the 1880s, but
right.
I know one of the major names that I hear is Pep Guardiola. He currently is the manager for Manchester City.
Okay.
But he coached at Barcelona.
At Barcelona.
When he was there with Messi and in his like heyday, like 2008 to 2012, where they were winning everything.
Gosh, dude.
And so he was the coach there, and then he moved over to Manchester City. He's regarded by most as one of the best managers that's coached.
They call them managers.
Yes,
okay.
Managers, yeah.
Okay. So I guess that's like
they call them both, but they mostly refer to them as managers.
It's kind of like the same with baseball too. I think they're baseball managers as well. I'm not too familiar with the professional side of baseball, but okay, that's cool to know.
Yeah.
It really This is just a whole new world for me.
Right.
Because when I got that notification, I was like, dang, man, let me go look at, and I know it said he was the interim manager as it was.
Right.
And so I'm like, let me go check out their season. Right now, here, I'll just click on Tottenham right now and go look at where they stand on the table.
They're a, kind of top table team.
They're I like
fifth.
that's what it's called. Yeah, they're what the heck? So somebody's going to have to explain that to me. I don't know if you know the reasoning behind why they're like that.
I think the problem, and I think that thing that makes most people frustrated is that they're frustratingly always underachieving. So it's like
just the Hotspur in general.
Right.
Okay.
It's like you'll have a great performance from the Spurs, and then you'll have subpar, awful, subpar, and just like in moments where you expect them to kind of rise above, they just never do.
Right.
And they make decisions and they do things that keep them just frustratingly in the top 6 all the time.
Dang.
And so I'm trying to think of something to compare it to in our sport.
Well, there's a comparison you can make.
What's that?
The Dallas Cowboys. Oh.
Yeah, of course. Other than that, yes,
that'd be the easiest. No, I think another team that's like that. Have the Hotspurs won anything big? Have they won? What's it called? Like a world? What's it called? The World Cup?
No. They World Cup is where the countries play. So
every 4 years.
Yeah, championship. The Champions League is where the clubs play against each other, and I'm sure that they have won some things in their history. They have not won anything in a long time. Let me pull up some.
Okay,
pull up some of their stuff.
I'm trying to think of a team that's like that. For us on our side of things, and I think, somebody hasn't won something in a long time, but it's known to be great. You're thinking, I'm thinking of college football, like USC, Notre Dame, people who get right there, and then they just can't do it. They can't overcome the hump.
So it says here that Spurs have won 2 league titles, so they've won the Premier League twice.
Wow.
They have won 8 FA Cups and 4 League Cups.
Okay.
7 FA Shields.
Okay.
They've won 1 European Cup and 2 UEFA Cups. And they were the runner-up in 2018 Champions League. So they made it to the final of the Champions League in 2018.
Wow.
So they have had some success in the past, but it's been a long time.
And so in recent history, it's not like these guys haven't touched stardom in a while. Like in 2018, that wasn't that long ago in sport. It's 5 years ago. As a sports team, that's not bad to be at championship level in 5 years,
Thusly, the Cowboys comparison, because it's constantly Cowboys are I remember 2007, Dallas having this stacked team. Everyone thought it's going to be New England versus Dallas easy.
Oh yeah,
and then they just lose it in the first round of the playoffs. But that was clearly the team that should have been playing against Brady. This year,
honestly, I really, really believed, especially y'all's defense.
Yep, we looked good.
I thought, honest to goodness, this was going to be the time, but we're not here to talk about Dallas Cowboys.
No, but I'm beginning to believe that if we ever talk about Tottenham, I'm going to have to talk about Dallas. I feel like they're just kind of
going to have to, yeah. And for those of you guys who just don't know that much about the football, the National Football League, you gotta look into the history of the Dallas Cowboys, because it's insane. It's almost scripted. There was a whole conspiracy theory that came out this year about the National Football League scripting games, because you look at teams like Dallas and you're like, how the frick does this keep happening?
Well, and the other thing that feels scripted about it is they had this weird fluke last year where they would win 4 games and lose 1, win 4 and lose 1, win 4 and lose 1, win 4 and
that
lose
was their pattern last year?
Seriously.
I didn't
they were
catch
12-5, and they would win. So they started off by losing 1, then they won 4, then they lost 1, then they won 4, then they lost 1, then they won 4.
Was last year 12? So that was their 17-game season still.
Yeah.
Well, it's 17 is the new style. It was 16, now it's 17. Okay.
Yeah, we could go on for it, but the crazy thing is people were thinking if that pattern holds up, they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
but the pattern fell apart against San Francisco.
So. That's right. Yeah, because all they needed, and San Francisco goes on to play in the Super Bowl that year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So all they needed was the 4-game run, and couldn't do it, man.
Anyway,
yeah. So let me just describe to you, as a Newcastle fan, okay, as annoying as I'm about to be as a Newcastle fan, I'm driving to church, and there's this long stretch of bridge in between where I have to drive to from New Orleans to my church, hour and 30-minute drive. And this long stretch of bridge has like no cell service. And so I hit the bridge about the time the game starts, and I have all the notifications cut on ESPN. So it tells me, hey, well, they don't call it kickoff. What do they call it?
Don't they call it kickoff?
Is it kickoff?
I think so.
I don't. It's like that for
I think it's a kickoff.
It's like that for my football.
It is a kickoff.
It is. There you go.
Whether they call it one or not, it is a kickoff.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. But I didn't. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe I got right. Know. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. But somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But at kickoff, 0-0, 30-minute drive, basically with no cell service. I get to the other end of the bridge, and that's when I texted you. 5-0, what the heck is going on right now? This is nuts. And I'm trying to, we had to stop at a gas station and right after the bridge, and I'm trying to like scroll through the highlights to figure out what in the world went wrong and how they allowed that to happen.
So many things.
Can you break that down for me? Were you watching the game?
No, I was not. Okay. So I was also at church. And
okay.
We started that Sunday. I had to be there early. And so
got you.
I was just trying not to actively trying not to look at it because I knew what was going on. But also, I'm not necessarily a Tottenham fan, so I wasn't that invested in the game. It was only like by seeing notifications, I was like, oh, Tottenham's just getting spanked.
Obliterated.
And so, I realized something was going on. And but I'm not – after this, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure – that I can give my allegiance to Tottenham. I'm not going to lie. I'm not ready to do this.
You're not ready to subject yourself to this.
Reading some of the comments on the Tottenham page, and they're like talking. It almost seems like someone who's just been. I'm not trying to trivialize this, but somebody who's been getting like abused constantly.
Yeah.
They're just like, I can't take any. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think my emotions can handle this relationship with my team.
That feels like a toxic fan base just a little bit.
Yeah,
it's like, sure. But not in a way to where they're just like, we're going to make everything worse or whatever for everybody, or that we're going to make life more difficult for everybody. But in a way to where they're so used to losing in big games like that, or because that was a big game for them. They're seated at 5, we're at 3, so this could really give them the opportunity to move up a little bit. Let me see how many points behind they are here. So, Tottenham is not – I mean, they're still only 6 points behind Manchester United, and Man and Newcastle are tied right now for third. So, they're not – that game very well could have been the difference for them.
Yeah.
And then to lose like that. So, you think – you're like looking into their fan base, and it's like, man, these guys are so used to this that they're lying to themselves saying it's going to get better.
I mean, they're actively saying, let's just get rid of our best player because, he doesn't deserve this.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
what's his name?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, yeah. So they're wanting to get rid of him because they're like, he doesn't deserve this. Where would he go, though?
I don't know where Harry Kane – Harry Kane honestly had – during the World Cup, I saw an interview with him where he was talking about – really toying with the idea of coming to the NFL to kick.
Wow.
Be a kicker. Because
make far less money?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he would, but he's probably made a lot of money in his career. He idolizes Brady. Brady's like his hero.
Okay.
And so he always kicked around the idea of coming and kicking in the NFL. So
dude, okay. So is he like I'm trying to think. Is he like kind of an older player? Or is he okay?
Yeah.
So that would make sense. He could, instead of retiring, he could stay active, stay on a sport contract, still have the brand, have the name, all that stuff.
Yeah, let me look up Harry Kane real quick. Yeah, he's been playing for. Well, he's not that old. He's 29 years old.
Well, would you say some of these guys get into professional soccer 17 or something?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was playing for the England under 19 team from 2010 to 2012.
Wow.
So
17?
Yeah.
So if he's been playing that long, I mean, 12 years of professional sports, whether under 19, you can call it amateur if you want to, but I mean, those guys probably have a big enough following where you want to call that professional. You've been playing that long, 12 years. Doesn't matter if you're 29 years old. You've put 12 years of professional wear on your body. It's the same thing we're seeing with Derrick Henry and the NFL right now. The Titans shopped him around, and he's a premier back. but he's also in his late 20s, and that kind of wear on a player like that it's very hard to justify spending that kind of money, man.
Yeah, we put $65 million in Ezekiel Elliott, and
Yeah.
that just turned
That
into,
panned out great for you, didn't it?
Oh no.
Where did he end up? Has he signed with anybody?
No, nobody wants to sign him. He's literally a fullback now. Like he's not. They're not gonna get Zeke of 2016, which kills me because I loved him when he came into the league. But I'm not sure with this old Tottenham situation what I'm gonna do. I know that I also like United, and they're gonna be playing each other soon. So I'm gonna do a live watch along of United versus Tottenham, and maybe we'll see by the end of that game which team I end up rooting for the most, and that's the team. That's the one.
I'm with you.
So maybe we'll figure that out. But
so something that I noticed that was cool. Did I tell you I watched the Leeds game?
No.
So I've been
You've been watching more games than me right now.
I've been watching games, bro, because I know I sent you the pictures. Me and my daughter woke up early the other day to watch the Newcastle game, and of course we lost that one. But it's like if I don't watch it, we'll win. But I was up. Was that an early morning game? Let me go click on Fulham's. Is that how you say on Fulham?
Fulham, yeah.
Fulham. Okay. Let me go look at their thing
Fulham.
here. Fulham. They're going full ham out here.
Fulham.
Yeah, they were. I don't know what time they played. This was at. Feel like it was morning time for us.
If it was, there's one game that gets played at 6:30, and then there's a bunch of games that get played at.
Yeah, maybe it was like midday. I think it was midday. So I know that game was big for Leeds though, because they are right above relegation. I mean, they are, from what they were talking about, like as they lose that game, and it was a good one. Fulham got up. I think Fulham went up 2-0. Leeds scored 1. And then they went into, I think it was, what do they call it, extra time or whatever? They don't call it overtime. What do they call it?
Yeah, extra time was they played an extra 30 minutes.
They
15-minute halves.
No, they played. They weren't tied. They just had 9 minutes left. Would you tell me what's it called when the
stoppage time? Yeah,
stoppage time. Okay, so explain that to me again, because matter of fact, I got a question about that.
Go for it.
So answer this for me. How accurate is the stoppage time? Like when it says +9, are they playing to 8:59 and then at 9 minutes it's done? When does it stop? Because I feel like they played way over that.
Yeah, I think that it's on the ref's call. I think.
What?
So the ref has the clock. So the ref is the one who signals for time.
Okay.
And so whenever he signals for time is when they call it. I think that it's pretty much like accurate, but I'm not positive. There could be another factor that I'm missing, but I know that the ref will wave for
when it's done.
Right.
So like if there's an active drive or something like that, if the ball is in play, will he stop it?
Yep. As soon as he says time, it's over. The ball can be in the air.
Okay. Can you earn? That's called extra minutes as well. That time.
Added time.
Yeah, added time, something like that. If you're in that, right? Say you're in those extra minutes or that added time, like in their case it was like 9 minutes. If you're in that time, and you lose like 2 minutes to an argument or something, do they then add another 2?
I don't see. This is something I don't know.
Okay.
I assume they would. I have, or maybe I know sometimes they can give yellow cards for wasting time.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know what that is. I think that they just play that stoppage timeout and it's just over.
And that's that. Okay. Because it felt like when I was watching in the Leeds game, they got 2 minutes. No, that's not right. There was like 9 minutes and 45 seconds or something. I was like, dang, they might play up to 10. This might be the full 9 minute, like 9 minute 55 seconds. So it may have been that way on his.
Or maybe he did add time. I that's something that I'm unaware of.
I have no clue. And somebody can answer that for us in the comments because I would really like to know the answer to that. Yeah, because I'm trying to figure this all out. I just don't have it. But
yeah, looking at this though with Leeds, they're precariously surviving right now. They're at 29. Yeah. They have 29 points, and I mean Everton 18. They're at 28. So, man, that sucks for Leicester City.
So talk to me about Leicester City. What's
So-
that's not Leicester?
Yeah, no, it's not Leicester.
Okay.
I said it a million times and got roasted. So it's Leicester.
That's how I pronounce that.
Yeah,
Leicester.
Leicester.
How is that pronounced Leicester? What country is this?
It beats me, man.
Bro, I don't.
Beats me.
I ain't got it, man.
I know that we got the English language from them, but they don't know
Yeah.
how to speak English very well sometimes.
Ooh, oh, somebody's about to get torched.
So Leicester City, there's a really cool story about them that we've got to get you to react to.
Okay.
In fact, we got to get you to just do a bunch of reactions. But
Yeah, that'd be great.
Leicester City, there's an amazing story about them. Nobody expected. It was out of just the clear blue. Just like 1 year, I think it was 2016. They won the Premier League.
What?
They just won the league.
The team that's 17th on the table
Yeah.
right now, they're in relegation, right?
Yeah.
So if they
No,
finish,
they're right above relegation. Right
what's
now.
relegation? Oh, the bottom
18,
three.
yeah, 18
Wow, dude.
Yeah,
Hold on. How far? Let me go check this real
they're
quick.
barely surviving right now, but
No, they are tied for
Yeah.
relegation. So, there's another question. So finish your story though, and then I'm going to ask.
well,
that.
just randomly in 2016, they just won the Premier League. Just won the league.
So they did more than Hotspur
Yeah,
has.
people were really upset with them because they didn't think that the direction of the club was. I mean, everything was falling apart for them. They hired this manager, and everyone was clowning them for hiring this guy, this old guy, and they won the Premier League.
Whatever, man.
It's just a wild run. But anyway,
So that's their 2016 hot run there.
yeah, just out of the clear blue, they won the league.
That's nuts. So here's my question before you move on, because now I'm interested. Okay. Surely this has not happened, but maybe it has. So, football's been around for a long time. Y'all hear that? I'm calling it
He's calling
football
it football.
actively. Yeah,
You got
don't get off my back. So so if they finish like Leicester, that's how you say it?
Yeah.
Leicester. Okay, all right. I'm gonna get this. Okay, if Leicester and Everton say they finish out the season exactly how it is right now, and there's a tie in the bottom three for fourth,
Yes.
for 17th. Okay, what do they do?
They have there are tiebreakers, like we would have tiebreakers in the standings for football.
Right.
But they have goal differential, I believe, is what would go to next.
Okay.
So if you look at it real quick, you'll see that Leicester has.
Yeah.
Wait, where are the
This
goals?
is probably why Leicester is above them in the rankings, because they're negative 13 goal
Yep.
differential versus negative 22,
Yep, it's the goal differential is what would decide that.
which is why Newcastle is ahead of Man United.
Right, even though they have the same number of points.
Right. They're just 29. Good not.
Yeah, so it is important whether you have a good offense that can score and a deep so it is important that goal differential. So it's not only important that you win, it's important how you win, because you might get into one of these situations where you're tied with a team, and then the goal differential actually makes a significant difference.
Okay.
But yeah, what's really interesting is coming up, and actually it's coming up really soon. Oh, my phone's the camera.
Yeah, your phone is actively recording us.
It's coming up really soon. We have Man City versus Arsenal, and this could decide the league.
No kidding.
April 26th, yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah, because it could decide who's number one, right? Because
it could be for the championship of the league.
Explain to me, okay.
At least that's what somebody in my comments said.
How do we do this? There's a playoff, or is it just whoever's number one is the champion?
Whoever finishes. So I'm underwhelmed by the.
Yeah, I'm a little lost on that.
I'm underwhelmed by their playoffs. I'm so entrenched in the American playoff system, which is where you go to sudden death, and it's just like
Yeah.
all out tournament. Everything ratchets up.
Yeah.
But
Screw how you've done all season.
Right.
Doesn't matter unless you've earned the bye, right? Yeah. The first round bye, which only 2 teams get that, and then the rest of the league is you either got it or you don't.
Right. So what I've learned, maybe someone in the comments can maybe add some clarity to my thinking here, but football in the rest of the world is just different. So it's not, they don't look at winning the league the same way that we would, because there are all kinds of different tournaments that they're in.
Oh, fair enough.
So you've got the FA Cup,
Okay.
you've got the Champions Cup, you've got all of these different trophies that you can win. And so the clubs they're trying to win what they call the treble, which is where you win your league, you win the Champions League, and you win the FA Cup in the same year.
Wow.
That's winning. That they call winning. The
What happens if you win all of those and you win, or do all of those get played in the years that the World Cup gets played?
It's different because the World Cup is countries.
Right.
So,
but what I'm saying is, what happens if, in theory, right? Say that just rock with me for just a second. Say that Newcastle United, World Cup's going to be played in the next 4 years or 4 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
So they win the treble and they win the World Cup.
They can't win the World Cup though.
Why not?
Because they would be playing for England. So it's like England versus Mexico, Italy. So like there will be players.
I'm lost.
Yeah. So right now playing for Liverpool in the Premier League is a guy named Virgil van Dijk, who is from the Netherlands.
Oh, this is like the Olympics.
Yeah.
Okay. Football is not in the Olympics.
Right.
So this is what it is.
So Messi will be playing. He played for FC Barcelona, but he would play for Argentina, not Spain.
So all of the players who are from England in the English Premier League play for England.
Right, which is why I was saying earlier before was that Harry Kane plays for Tottenham, but he was one of England's top goal scorers. Because he's one of the best players in England.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. I'm tracking with you, bro.
Yeah.
Y'all just saw in live action a light bulb go.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is Team USA, the U.S. men's team, we did actually really good in the World Cup this year. I mean, people didn't think we would.
We beat. Who did we beat? Did we beat England?
Yeah. No, we tied with England.
That's what it was. Yeah. We tied.
We tied with England.
There was y'all probably don't know this, but in the American meme world, there were a million memes going on about how England hasn't beat us in anything since the Revolutionary War.
Man, it's funny as if you lined us up to play against them 3 times in a row, they just spanked us.
They would. And people were like, people from England were commenting. They were like, yeah, but a tie is nothing to boast about. It's like, yeah, but you didn't win. Y'all haven't beat us in anything in a long time. So
we actually did. We played really well in the World Cup. Even in that game, I watched that game. It was 0-0, but it was intense.
Wow.
Because the U.S. men's team is very athletic. They really are a good team. They're just not as experienced as all of these other
How long
countries.
has the U.S. had a team?
So the U.S. has an interesting history with the World Cup. So like you date all the way back to when the World Cup started. The first World Cup, the U.S. team was like 3rd place. So like they Yeah, they were a smaller amount of teams there.
Sure.
But they were one of the better countries playing. And then they've kind of had a hit or miss pass with whether they're going to. But they've been represented.
The U.S.
almost
has been
every
around
year.
for a while.
2018 they missed the World Cup, which was really embarrassing. But
dang, how do you miss the
they
World
didn't
Cup?
Qualify.
How do you qualify for the World Cup?
So you qualify by playing against other countries in exhibition matches.
Oh, there's like a kind of like how in NASCAR there's some kind of preliminary.
I don't know NASCAR. So
okay,
maybe.
Yeah, sorry. I'm like an hour away from Talladega or whatever is where I grew up. So anyway.
Yeah, so they play qualifying matches, and then I don't know how the qualifications completely work, but I do know that they failed to qualify in 2018, which was really, everyone was making fun of us because
the women's team won it in 2018 though.
Yeah, the women's team is one of the best. One of the U.S. women's soccer team is like the best of all time. They're a powerhouse team. They've won the World Cup I think 4 times.
Wow.
Maybe it's 3, but they're always one of the better teams in the world.
What's her name? Rapinoe?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, with the pink hair.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so they they're good, but the U.S. men's team was good this year, and they have a lot of players that play in the Premier League. So one of our best players is named Christian Pulisic.
When you say ours, you're saying somebody from the United States.
Yeah, he's American.
Playing,
but he plays for Chelsea. In the Premier League. And then we had Weston McKennie, who is...
Hey, my cousin.
Yeah, he's from Dallas.
He's not actually my cousin. My last name is also McKinney, so that...
Yeah. He's from Dallas, but he plays in Italy.
Wow.
So he plays for Juventus.
Then out there getting that money.
Yeah. And so you mean most of the... Actually, I don't think there's any... Yes, there was. There was one. I'm sorry, I'm burping because of the Barks root beer.
Yeah, hold that up for the camera. This man is drinking
root beer
zero sugar.
Zero sugar.
Is it garbage?
No, it's actually not that bad.
Okay, all right. If you have to say it's not that bad, it's that bad.
Yeah, it's all right. It gives me the taste of soda with also not the having me diabetes. But
fair enough. We chased that squirrel. We're back.
yes, there was one player on the U.S. men's team who was from the Major League Soccer, which is our pro soccer league, and that was Jesus Ferreira, who plays for my club, FC Dallas.
Let's go.
But most of the players on the U.S. men's team play in these bigger leagues, so it's just like having Americans play over in their leagues.
Okay. And so when we line up as a team to say we are the United States, we pick the best players from every team, and we call all our boys back home.
Right.
So it's wherever you have like residence, I guess, whatever you're,
or wherever you're from. So
gotcha.
Well,
time out. So what about like if I was born Italian, but I go to Germany to play, and does it not matter? Do they call? How does that work?
I don't know. I think that's good. That's a good question.
That kind of seems like you're like. Does your government like call you up and be like, "Hey, man, time to come back"? Like it's cool that you're having fun over there in Germany, but your butt's coming home.
No, I really don't know.
Maybe it's a decision thing because like I also wonder that
I did see that this year, this World Cup, Erling Haaland, who plays for Manchester City, he's young, but he's one of the best players. He's taken the league by storm.
Wow,
he's really good.
Who's he play for?
Man City.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he had the choice. He could have played for the for Norway or England. He technically could have played for England, but he chose not to because he wanted
to represent his
Norway.
His
Norway didn't make the World Cup, so
okay. Wait a minute. So I think there's I think we've seen that before in the Olympics, like with basketball. I think some star players like Giannis plays for Greece every time. It doesn't matter.
Right. And
he could be. I think he has the choice because I think he is a legal resident of the United States.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's like with Doncic. He's going to play for Slovenia.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Every time. Man, that's cool. Like, I feel like I'm learning more and more every time we sit down and talk about it. Yeah, no, it's like, this could be all incorrect, right?
We're babbling.
We could be up here talking crap and have no idea what we're talking about and then get roasted in the comments.
What's funny is every time we do one of these, I feel like we have a good discussion that everyone enjoys, but I constantly will have comments like, you almost had it right.
And it's like, just tweak it just a little bit. And it's like, look, man, if we're batting like 90%, like if we're hitting 85% from the three, we're balling, bro.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Well, let's just take it this way. We're having a lot of fun doing it. So
I'm having a blast.
We're falling in love with the sport, so that's a good thing. But,
Absolutely.
Speaking of falling in love with the sport, okay, we got to get to this because I've got to get you to start reacting to Welcome to Wrexham, which is the show that really Welcome to Wrexham is what caught me. You're already a fan because you fell in love with Newcastle, but
and I'm also a fan of Wrexham just because Ryan Reynolds is involved. And if there's a man alive that has stirred my affection, it's Ryan Reynolds. Okay, I saw a meme and it was like this girl. It wasn't even a meme. It was like a TikTok. She was like, if she was responding to one and it was like a stitch or whatever, and the stitch was like, you think your man, but he's got a girl in his mind that if you left him in a room with, he'd be in trouble. And she stitched it and said, no, there's no girl in his mind. Let me show you who it is. And she turns around and it's Ryan Reynolds. It has him and she's just showing different shots of him. Freaking hilarious. But anyway, no, Ryan Reynolds, I think he's a dope dude. I really like him on camera, him behind the camera and off screen. I think he's great. So knowing that he's involved is a big deal for me.
So here's a cool thing, and I want to address something. I'm probably going to make this into its own clip on the channel because anyway, it's that interesting. So, Wrexham, Welcome to Wrexham, excellent show. I fell in love with it there. Just seeing the community that loves and supports their club, and just kind of seeing like the trauma that they've gone through with their club and fighting to actually retain ownership of their club.
They got relegated like boom, 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 boom down the ladder.
They were in, I believe, and I might be wrong with this, I think they were in League One, or they were in one of the top one of the top leagues, just like directly under Premier League, and they got relegated down completely out of that those tiers of professional football. They're still professional because they're paid for it, but they got relegated all the way down to the National League.
At that point, you're not making as much as you were.
Right. It's more of like a semi-pro kind of league. Yeah.
Wow.
And so they've been stuck in it for 15 years. But out of the blue one day, 2 Hollywood actors decided to buy their club.
Who's the other guy that's on with
Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. And so a lot of people, like, it's one of those, like, just underdog stories, like, at least from our perspective, from watching it, just to see the club finally get promoted. And it's 15 years to the day, like the exact day.
That's almost
it's
almost scripted.
It's wild, man.
It is.
So like April 22nd, I believe, of 2000 and
15 years, 20. That'd be. This is bad. This is so bad.
Was it 2007? I think it's 2007. Maybe 2008. 15 years exactly to the day. No, it's 2008, 15.
Is that 15?
8 plus 15 is 23.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we're in seminary for a reason, boys.
Because we're terrible at math.
We don't have it, man. We ain't got it.
We can think about God and philosophy and coherence theory and correspondence theory and all that
I can talk logic all day with you and cults and all that, but I can't talk about math. So, back to it, though.
Okay, so
15 years.
15 years to the day.
Okay.
Is they're finally back promoted again. And so to a lot of us, this is like an underdog story, but I'm seeing a lot of people who obviously are like, well, of course they won because they spent they have like their budget's like 5 times the budget of all the other teams in their league. Well, but someone was saying this, and I think that this is actually a good comment, that as a study in targeted philanthropy, it's an amazing story. Because
hit me with it.
What wanted to happen is Rob wanted to help a community. Same thing with Ryan. So Ryan gets into this because he wants to be philanthropic. He wants to help a community, bring some joy and love to a community. So like they targeted Wrexham because of the story and because it was feasible for them to do this.
Right, and you're saying like the whole town. Are they from that? This shows my geographical ignorance. What town are they in? What city are they in?
Wrexham. It's the Wrexham club, but it's in Wales.
Wales. Okay. So, but I know that community is absolutely in love with that team, and it destroyed them that they got relegated in the first place, and that they felt in this like the community is so behind them. Because you posted a video. Yeah. You posted a video of just this compilation of their story. And there's this quote from Ryan Reynolds. We were texting about it the other day. Yeah. There's this quote from Ryan Reynolds in there that was awesome. The reporter asked, why Wrexham? Mm-hmm. Why this club? Why this team? And he goes through this spiel about, talking about how he wanted to be with the community and everything like that. And he's like, but I keep getting asked that. Why Wrexham? Why Wrexham? And he's looking around at the city just going nuts. And he's like, why not? This is why. This is exactly why we chose them. Yeah. And it gave me chills because I'm like, dang, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful story.
The thing with this that I think a lot of people are going to look at it cynically because, well, of course they have money, but
whatever, man. Money doesn't do everything for you.
Yeah, but I mean, you can see from it, and they have proven over the couple years, and you watch the documentary, you can tell they're doing it for more than just like their own name or their own fame. They really, really, truly love the people of Wrexham. Yeah. And so do the people there. You should hear their you have to watch the show, but they have a song that they sing, and it's
you're saying they love Ryan and
they love Ryan and Rob.
Cool. Ryan and Rob. I got to remember that.
Yeah, they even put up Deadpool in like the bar that's on the race course, which is the stadium. So they put painted a big mural of Deadpool and
that's so cool.
And Rob's character.
That's so cool.
So So anyway, it's really cool to see them get finally promoted, and they have a huge fan base in the States now because of Ryan Reynolds. So most Americans that follow the sport are big Wrexham fans. Yeah. And so it's really good for the community. A lot of the people in the community are commenting on my videos, and they're saying things like, it's so cool to see tourists from the States coming to our little town in Wales.
Dude.
And like people are just flooding there to just, come visit a game and see a game there at the race course. And
dude, that is so cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm excited. In fact, they're going to be coming to play
that's
San
right.
Diego.
That's
they're
right.
Going to be playing against Manchester United.
Yeah, which is insane.
Which
like
is
that is
wild.
insane to think about. Oh gosh, I have my microphone. Sorry, whoops.
Now we're just hoping that they don't get spanked by United, but
right, yeah, but to even think about that, like money's out the door at this point. It doesn't. And here's the comment about money that gets on my nerves. I understand that football, the across the ocean football works differently than American football works, because we have cap and stuff like that. They don't have caps and stuff, do they? On their they can play.
There are financial fair play rules, but it's different from our caps. You can pay.
If I wanted to go get a player and offer him $600 million for 4 years of play, he would. Nobody's going to stop me from doing that.
So they actually look at it as if you're a club who has earned. So like the top clubs are going to have privilege in being able to spend what they've earned. So in some sense, it's a pretty American way of thinking. If my club makes more, so think about it this way:
it's like a capitalist situation. Yeah.
If Dallas has earned this by like making more with their club, they should be able to spend within their means.
But see, that makes sense though, and that's something I can get on board with, because it's this whole situation that's going on with Alabama football and Ohio State. In college football, there's this big debate that's going on with talking about trying to take away transfer portal stuff from these teams, trying to peel back on some of their scholarships, because every single year, Clemson, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, one of those teams, matter of fact, I think this year was the first year in 15 years that either Ohio State, Alabama, or Clemson had not been in the national championship. And that is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And so people are looking at that and they're going, well, we need to do something to dial those teams back, because nobody wants to see that every year. Whereas other fans are going, like me, I'm saying, if you want to do something about it, do something about it. Don't take away from the team. Win your freaking games. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And this is exactly I think it's we're gonna get into a political discussion here. It's a microcosm of the political discussion, because it's what it is actually it's artificial equity. So what you're doing is you're trying, what we do in our sports is we try to level the playing field.
Right.
So how are we going to level the playing field? We're going to take privileges away from these folks, give the draft pick to the team who loses.
Yeah.
So that they can get more players. So that way that we have this equal playing field. So that way the product, and in some sense, it does produce a better product.
Sure.
Because you don't have one team dominating the league.
Sure.
But
even then, like even in the NFL, the Browns and the Jets are prime examples of this. They get first-round draft pick. You look at the Browns; they've had the first-round draft pick out of the past 15 years. I keep using the 15-year model, but out of the past 15 years, they've had like 7 number 1 picks. Right. And what have they done with it?
Nothing.
Squandered it.
Yeah,
absolutely squandered it. And so I'm sitting there saying, if I'm the best team, give me the best players, because obviously I'm putting out a product that's worth it. And so I'm on board with that with football.
Yeah. So most people don't have a problem with it, because they think, well, this team has earned the right to be able to pay the players more. Now what you do end up having happen is some teams will still make under the table deals, and they'll pull money from other places that they're not actually they're not playing within the financial fair play rules.
Does FIFA not do anything about that?
So FIFA wouldn't have anything to do with those clubs, because FIFA is more of the governing body of maybe the federation that's over that, like the Premier League. Okay. But it's mostly the leagues that are going to take care of that kind of stuff.
So you're saying federation that's over the Premier League. So this is crazy. So there's different governing bodies at work here.
So that you have UEFA, CONCACAF. I can't remember which one. Maybe CONCACAF is like Central America. I'm not sure, but there are these different federations where like all of the leagues operate within. Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking. We're staying on this political analogy here. Yeah. So we're talking state governments and then FIFA is like the federal government.
I assume that's how this works. Yes.
Okay, somebody help.
Somebody please help.
Please help. I'm asking you. Please help me because I'm trying to figure this out. Because if there's individual governing bodies over each league, what the heck does FIFA do?
That's a good question. We need to really watch that FIFA Uncovered documentary because you can kind of see
what does that mean.
They go through all of the corruption of FIFA, and it's dangerously corrupt.
That's touching on something that you shared with me at one point where you were talking about how FIFA is kind of like obscure.
They make underhanded deals with countries to like. So basically, a lot of people don't think that the last World Cup should have been played in Qatar. They think that Qatar bought the World Cup.
All that oil money.
Yes, and I think that people were making under the table deals to try to get their bid through, and there was a lot of discussion because Qatar was not ready to handle it. They claimed that they were going to build an indoor stadium in order for because it's so hot, because the World Cup is always played in the summer. Always played in the summer.
Okay.
And Qatar is so hot, it would be dangerous for the players' health. So they were going to be building air-conditioned, climate-controlled stadiums, and they did not do it. So what do? They decided to have it in the winter. The first time ever that a World Cup has been played in the winter. And most of us still watched it because we wanted to watch the games.
Right.
Because the games that were played, some of the best you'll ever see. But
did they use a crutch to try to get themselves out of the indoor thing? Like, did they try to use like COVID or anything like that to kind of make it?
I don't remember all
Was it supposed to be played summer of 22 and it was played in winter of 22, or what?
It was played in winter of 22, and it was supposed to be in 22, but it's never been played in the winter. It's always played in the summer.
So they delayed it 6 months.
Yeah, and the thing that people were frustrated with is that interrupts the club seasons. So all of the leagues had to put a pause on the season during that time so players could go play in the World Cup. Some players got injured, which ends up affecting their club seasons.
Dang.
And normally the World Cup is played in the summer, so it's not affecting anyone's club season.
Wow. So because if you got some type of sports betting or something going on, that's gonna or even if you're just fans of it, your favorite player goes and gets hurt trying to win something like the World They it'd be tough.
Yeah. So there was a lot of things going on with World Cup. There was a lot of human rights violations as far as like they were using slave labor to build these things.
Dude.
Like it was a really bad deal. So watching that documentary
how much money did they give FIFA for this?
I can't remember the numbers, but they go through that in the documentary. It's been a while since I watched it.
We gotta watch it.
But yeah,
we definitely have to, because so maybe you tried to explain this to me before. But what we're seeing right now, like the games that I'm watching, is this the continuation of the season that was paused?
Yes. Yeah. So
what?
Yeah. So they paused the season during November, end of November through December, and then the first game played was the day after Christmas.
Okay.
And started the season back again.
I'm scrolling over here. I'm looking at games played 32, 30, 31. They haven't played 32 games since January. These games. So when is a normal soccer season or football season?
I actually don't know. I don't know. That'd be a good question. I actually don't know.
Somebody answer, like, what is the normal span?
Yeah.
Like, when is the off season? Because
this is the first year I've been watching it too. So this is not the normal year for someone to get involved in.
Gotcha.
In the sport.
Because what I'm seeing all over headlines is that these players are going to move in free agency and stuff like that. I keep getting reports on my phone because I follow all things Newcastle now, and so I'm getting all these reports on my phone that are like, Newcastle's looking to pick this player up in the free agency, and I'm like, free agency's running in the middle of a season.
So I'm not sure how free agency works, but I do know that the season's coming to an end. I know
okay.
Which is why I'm saying that this game with Man City versus Arsenal is really big.
Oh, so Newcastle's probably not going to
win it.
Okay.
I guess there's an outside chance. I don't think they've been eliminated from winning it, but
it's a Hail Mary toss-up at this point.
Yeah, and right now, we're looking at Newcastle hasn't won enough games to get the points, I don't think.
That's right. Yeah, that's a big differential. We're looking at a 6-point difference between Newcastle and Man.
Well, not even that. You've got Man City's got 70 points on the table and Newcastle's got 59.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But this could be a big deal with Arsenal and Man City, and Arsenal has been slipping recently, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, they lost. Who did they lose to? Did they lose to us? Did we just beat them?
No,
that's not right.
They lost to somebody though.
They tied 2 games. They tied 3 games. Their past 3 games have been
ties. They tied to Southampton. Southampton's the bottom team of the league. They're 20 on the table.
And they gave up 3 points to them.
Yeah,
holy
3-3
crap!
And they tied to West Ham, who's also at the bottom of the table. 2-2.
Dang, Ham, what you doing?
Yeah.
Hold on, what is it, South Ham and West Ham?
Yep.
What's going on with the Hams? What do y'all?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
No, Nottingham. Yeah, dang man, y'all ain't got Wolverham.
Well, technically,
Wolverhampton,
Tottenham, but it's not. It's Tottenham. But
Tottenham, yeah, but the Hams are not showing out, bro. And if I'm crapping on any of y'all's teams, I'm so sorry. That's funny to me.
Yeah.
So man, we just chased a huge trail though. But that's interesting to me, like the way that it's governed and how it works. So with Wrexham moving up, relegating up, they start out at the bottom of promoting up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Relegating down,
promoting
up.
up.
Okay, all right. I got to get my vocab down here.
Uh-huh.
So with that being the case, what does that look like for them now? Do they have a fair shot to get out of the bottom 3? They're in it. The season over for whatever league they just promoted up to?
Yeah, so they're done.
Okay. All right.
There might be a couple more games left. I don't know, but they've won the league, so I don't know what happens.
So they're up. There's no knocking them up. No knocking them up. They're not going to get pregnant.
Well, I mean, Ryan Reynolds is there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. There's no knocking them out of the league until 2024.
Right. They're promoted. They're the champions of their league.
Cool.
And they have a good shot of continuing to, if not promote from this league, they're at least going to be, they're going to be doing well in the league.
Cool, man.
Because like I said, they have a good budget. It seems like they're being really well managed.
Okay.
So you'll find out by watching the show. Ryan and Rob aren't involved in the hands-on stuff. They're making more organizational decisions.
Yeah, big visionaries.
And they're putting people in place who can handle stuff. But they're basically running a business, and they're kind of growing it and trying to make decisions. But do
they have local cats from Wales doing this?
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
So they have friends in place. They've put people there to basically manage the team. So they're being really, but they're also showing up a lot. So there's like the community seems to have like direct access to them.
Dude.
So it's pretty cool.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah. In fact, one of the YouTubers that Liam Roberts, I watch him. He's a Wrexham fan, and his YouTube channel is growing about the same rate that mine is. So it's kind of cool to.
When y'all gonna pair up, man?
At some point we will. He has commented on a couple of my videos because I've used some clips from him. In fact, I used clips from him in my my little video I made about Wrexham.
Okay, cool.
So he was there, and Ryan and Rob walked right past him, like in that video.
Dude,
so.
Is he? Yeah,
he's from there. Yeah.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what a cool story.
Yeah. So. I'm really excited for them. I'm excited to see where it goes. We'll see if they promote up. I think at first I thought it was a long shot, but people are making a good case that they have a chance within 10 years or so to Wrexham being up in the Premier League.
Dang.
And the reason being is they've got a good budget and they're spending well, and they have the force of like the world behind them now. And so there's going to be an allure for players to want to go play there.
That's exactly what I was going to hit on, because there's going to be, with all of this that's coming around, players that may not even be perhaps the best in the Premier League would be the best in a league 2 tiers down. They could go join this team, build their brand, and take this team to the Premier League.
And what you'll see, what has happened is when they came, you'll see it in the show, they've convinced a few players to take a step down from the league that they're playing in to come down and play for Wrexham. They even, this year, they convinced Ben Foster, who was a Premier League goalkeeper, they convinced him to come out of retirement to help Wrexham. So
wow.
So like there's
yeah,
it's a pretty cool deal. And
that's nuts.
So I think that there's a lot going on with that. The Rob McElhaney he's really the driving force behind the thing because he's so passionate about the sport.
Yeah.
And Ryan was just the guy who had the most money, and he came in and he helped.
He's dumping funds,
and he has the name recognition.
Right,
so.
right.
But
and everybody knows Ryan Reynolds. He's a international name before Wrexham.
Right.
So.
But Rob both of them have been really influential in like convincing people to get on board with what they're doing. They're really so good at they're good at sales.
Silver tongues, baby. Yeah. So that's I'm digging this story more and more, man. We've got to start watching it. Yeah. And the fact they even have a TV show behind it is, that's they're solidifying them as a brand, as a team, as a community.
Yeah, and the story is so cool. Like the fact that I'm geeking out about the story, just sitting here thinking about a team 15 years from the day that they get relegated, getting promoted, and then I'm thinking, well, and Ryan Reynolds is there, and they've got a TV crew, documentary crew documenting this. I'm like, all of the storylines that you can tell through this is just it's mind blowing.
And I mean, it was everywhere. It was all over everything. I'm getting notifications, even from apps that I don't follow soccer with. I'm getting notifications about it.
Well, and Wrexham did really well in the FA Cup this year. They upset a few teams. They're a good team this year.
Forced to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
So what happens if they come to the States and beat Man City, man?
Manchester
United. I'm sorry. Whoops. I'm sure that is a cardinal sin to confuse those two.
Yeah. So it is what they call a derby. So you don't know about derbies yet.
No.
So it's spelt Derby, and I don't know why in the world.
What is up with this? Why are we doing this right now? Okay, so we have Leicester, and we have Derbies, but they're called Derbies.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So
my brain is going to break. I don't like this.
So many times on this channel, I've been very respectful, but I'm like, it's spelled Derby. Ever heard of the Kentucky Derby? But yeah.
It's crazy to me as Americans, like what we'll hold on to. And gosh dang it, the pronunciations in the English language, something we had nothing to do with, right? Like we're holding on to that and we're saying this is ours. This is how you pronounce this.
I don't understand though, but following our own rules of this language, it's spelled with an E.
Right.
It's not that. Never does an E sound like ah.
How did you get corrected on the Derby? Did you say Derby?
No, I watched some videos and they kept saying Derby, but I was like, I don't know what Derby means. But then I kept seeing it spelt Derby, and I was like, guys, is this a Derby or a Derby? And someone corrected me on it. So
there you go. Well, God bless them.
Yeah. So a Derby is just it's a rivalry. So like,
okay, all right.
If you take Alabama versus who's
Auburn.
big Auburn?
Come on, bro. The Iron Bowl. Let's go. Yeah.
Iron Bowl would be a derby.
It's a
derby.
That's
match.
our derby. I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah. So Manchester City versus Manchester United is one of the derby matches.
Wow. Okay.
And one thing that I don't know. I think they do like derby weekends where like they'll put all of the major rivalries will be playing against each other.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. It's like rival week. It's like Shark Week but for soccer. Yeah, I dig that. So derbies. Okay, so me getting them confused, that's a no-no.
Yeah, don't do that.
We're not going to do that anymore.
And a lot of times these derbies are like within the same place. So like Manchester, it's like Manchester City versus Manchester United.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's like AC Milan and Inter Milan in Italy. They were once one club, but then they like split apart, and there's this fierce rivalry.
That's why Alabama and Auburn are such fierce rivals.
Right.
They just happen to be big teams in the same place.
Right.
You see the same thing.
Texas OU.
Yeah, Texas and Oklahoma, they're so close to each other. Right. Oklahoma State and Oklahoma is a big one. Mississippi State and Ole Miss.
Right.
Both, so that makes sense. I can get behind that. Okay. Are all the hams against each other? Do they have a ham bowl?
I don't know all the derbies. I just know that a ham bowl.
They have a ham off. It's like, no, we're the best ham, okay? And nobody's going to – Tottenham would have it right now. They're the number one ham in all the league. So I'm not gonna let that go. Sorry.
I don't know how Tottenham, man.
Yeah, gosh, let's not even bring that back up. So,
all right. Well, I think we've been going for a good while here.
We've hit the hour mark.
Sweet.
We're there, dude. Your internal clock is crazy.
We're an official podcast, huh?
Yeah, that's it, bro.
Hitting at an hour.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, anyways, if you've watched this whole thing or listened to this whole thing, because I found out that I can make a podcast in YouTube Studio.
You just do it?
Yeah, you can just export the audio from a video in YouTube Studio and make it into a podcast. So.
I love it.
Good stuff. But anyway,
yeah.
If you've enjoyed this and you want to see more of our conversations where we just kind of talk about sports, it doesn't have to be football, but this is the one that we're, really the channel is kind of focused on, and you guys have really supported. So if you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe to the channel and tune in for the next one that we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Comment below. Fix all of the things that we've said wrong.
Please.
An hour of talking about this definitely means that there have been some things said that were inaccurate.
Yeah, and I go ahead and tell you, if you have questions about anything that we've brought up from other sports or anything like that, when it comes to like American sports, please ask us. Yeah. We would love to answer those questions. And something, that I'm so thankful for is the fact that you guys are allowing me to jump on this journey with y'all. It's been incredible.
I actually want to add this here at the end. For those of you who did watch the whole thing, that means you are like a super fan.
Come on.
Or something like that.
We appreciate it.
And so here's what I want to ask you guys. I want to make this like a podcast between the two of us. Mm-hmm. And so we probably were going to come up with a different name for the podcast, not just like the Luke Sports Academy podcast. It'll still be up here on the channel. Everything it'll still be posted to the channel. But if you guys can help us, we need to come up with a new name for it. So if you have any ideas for like the podcast, I don't know what it would be called. Like I don't want to just be like Luke and Corey's sports podcast, or like there might be something cool there. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Somebody. Yeah. Surely there's
and if the most creative one, we will. I don't know. We should do a contest.
We're not a rivalry, because then we could be the Derby Darbs.
The Derby Darbs. That's the Derby. It's the Derby Derbs.
The Derby Derbs. Derby Derbs. No, but yeah, seriously, if you guys could think of something, that would be great. Yeah. Because we're okay at naming stuff, but y'all's input would be greatly appreciated. And I'll go ahead and say this too. As different sports seasons ramp up, football season, we just had our spring games here. American football, we just had our spring games for college, which is like a huge deal. We get to see some teams. Early looks, and so as those seasons progress in the fall and stuff, of course we'll be covering those as well. So it'll be hard not to talk about.
So that's the thing I think for this podcast is we're going to make it more of just we're going to talk about sports,
general sports,
and obviously we're going to give a lot of attention to football because it's something that we're that you guys love. So we're going to give y'all a lot of attention with it, but we're going to just talk about sports, and I'll still keep doing the kind of content that I'm making, the reactions and those things will keep going up on the channel, but we're going to try to make this a more regular podcast that we do. So with that being said, you guys please like the channel or subscribe to the channel, like the video, turn that bell on. I do have a Patreon. You can go check that out in the description underneath this video, or you can join channel members. Both channel members and patrons get the same benefits.
So join both.
Join
both. I'm gonna say it. He won't say it. I'm gonna say it. Join both.
Double dip. Yes,
support
please.
Luke.
Absolutely. And at some point coming up very soon, I'm working with someone currently on designing some fire merch. So
boom.
Anyway, we will see you guys in the next video.
Deuces.